Hey guys, welcome back to LOI Fan TV, and we're back for off season, the silly season in this part of the world. So we're starting a little kind of a little trend of a video of transfer news. Done deals, what's rumored, what would we like to happen necessarily. Anything from weird to wonderful, and we will talk about. And yeah, look, from the offset, obviously like and subscribe. If
Do you
you're
know
on
what? Do you know what,
Spotify,
Luke? We should set a
yeah,
little challenge here.
yeah,
We're filming this on the Saturday. Hopefully, gonna go out on the Sunday. We could turn it into like a regular Sunday occurrence. Like we could maybe have it every Sunday, an LOI transfer show, a little catch up thing. We'll
yeah,
probably have to
yeah.
set a like target for that to be the case, though, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. 25 likes for 25 likes to. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
start off low.
yeah, yeah.
Because I know these
25
videos were
likes.
doing really good numbers. Transfer shows and stuff do really good numbers last year. So
Yeah.
we start off with 25, and we can increase it as we go on, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And look, we want to be interactive as well. Like we might even do it if you leave some comments on things you've heard. We'll review it the week after. So
100%.
and if like obviously some deals will get done, so we'll give kudos there as well if he's called something that actually happens. So yeah, look, let's get into it. Obviously lots of deals have happened, lots of rumors are spinning, so to speak. So yeah, let's take it from the top, Ross.
100%. We'll jump into alphabetical order. We'll do it usually that way. We might flip it some weeks, maybe
Yeah.
start at the bottom, work our way up. But we'll start off with Bohemians. We've actually got a couple of deals over the line today, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So they've confirmed the signings of Sam Todd from Derry City and Patrick Hickey from Galway. I know he was linked to Rovers last year, I think at one stage, wasn't he? I
Of
think.
course. Yeah.
So two good signs. Obviously, kind of Bows' defensive area is one. I think Rob Cornwell's left, so it's probably an area they wants to improve. So getting him in a kind of I think he's 27, so relatively experienced
Mm.
centre half in and kind of league around proven, in the door is a good bit of business.
Yeah, very much so. He was a mainstay for Kieran Lynch at Larne and then at Derry. So yeah, someone that he very much trusted, and I think it's important for Bows. I think like, Sean Graham was really their only mainstay in centre half last season. He left in July, and you were chopping and changing. Keane Byrne
Yeah.
came back from Galway, and yeah, there's just a lot of manoeuvring. So I think in order for Bows to be successful next season, they need to build from the back, and yeah, it's a great place to start.
100%. The Patrick Hickey one interests me, just in terms of what position he's going to play for them, because I think he's probably best served like nearly as like a off the striker type that can get into the box at every occasion. I know he's kind of he can play centre mid, he can play nearly as a
Mm.
number nine at times, nearly whatever. But like, how is that going to affect like a Tierney? Like, I can picture like I can picture a load of goals where Dale Rooney has a lovely delivery, and I can picture the goal where he swings in a lovely ball off the left peg, and Patrick
Mm.
Hickey, 6 foot, whatever he is, 6 foot six, seven, whatever. I think like he's that tall, like
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
on the end of it. But I just wonder how Bows are going to make that work with kind of the Tierneys of the world and stuff as well.
Well, Tierney kind of has played off the right in
Mm.
some games for Bows. Obviously, Dale Rooney's on the left, and look, we'll touch off later on the video. Meekson is left. James Clark, I saw there. We'll get on that with the outgoings of Bows, but they're two lads that are leaving. They necessarily are number 10. So I think there's a system there. It's tough because obviously you've Douglas James Taylor is there up top as well, so you're not going to replace him. He's a big lad, so I'm probably more like with the games with Colin Whelan up top. You can get Patrick Hickey beside him and make more things happen.
Yeah. I just maybe to sign a Rennie wanted to go a little bit more direct
Yeah,
next season, kind of
it's
just
good to have that in your arsenal as well. Like
100%.
especially with Europe and stuff. Like you're playing a big team away from home. You throw Patrick Hickey and he's a threat in both boxes.
Yeah. Now even
Yeah,
defensive
yeah,
corners, defensively and stuff, he'd be a
yeah.
great asset. You touched on there briefly. Archie Meekinson obviously made the move out. We'll touch on him later in the video because he has stayed within the
Mm.
league. James Clark though has I think he's pretty much confirmed to be leaving the club. But I saw
Yeah,
that apparently the Dundee deal isn't happening, which was what the one he was kind of heavily linked with. So interesting.
yeah. I was disappointed to see him being linked with like that Dundee was going to happen because as much like yeah, like I get it. Like Scotland is a step up in theory, like, but at the same time, you're best off staying at both and getting another year and developing further. I want to see him go to, if he's going to move to, England
Yeah.
or even move to a reputable club in Scotland, like go to a club like Hibs or somewhere like that, or go to like a Wigan or one of those boys. Like
Yeah.
Dundee's just like we're past that as a league, aren't we? Like, so I was kind of happy to see that necessarily. Now it might still happen, we don't know, but.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't. I hope he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, it's uninspiring, isn't it? It's an uninspiring
Very much so. Very
yeah.
much so.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's any other outs. Oh no, it's like I think there's likes of Keith Buckley as well. Of course, left the club,
Yeah,
which is kind
a
of
lot.
like obviously kind of a hero, like a legend of
Mm,
Bohemians, and there's obviously a kind of probably a list that we could read out of players that have left
yeah,
the club. But Keith Buckley was the one
yeah.
that sprung to mind, and Rob Cornwall, another one as well. I think has left the club.
John Mountney as well,
John Mountney, of course, yeah.
and James Talbot.
James Talbot, yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
yeah. So a couple of big names and kind of players that weren't really getting into. Well, Rob Cornwall was featuring a good bit, but a couple of players that
Mm.
weren't featuring a whole amount. Maybe kind of it makes sense for them to kind of explore a new avenue or whatever.
And they had a lot of players of that kind of age bracket as well, in their early 30s. Kind of lads come to the end of their career that
Yeah,
necessarily weren't really contributing. Maybe off the pitch they were, but on the pitch, like they were never going to get in ahead of your Devoys, your Tierney's, Gren when he was there, Chahazka and goals. Like you need to be kind of building around these boys. So it makes sense to pass the guard on from those lads. But yeah, they're great servants for Bows over the years.
100%. Rumors wise on Bose, I don't know if you've heard any. One I've kind of a weird one I've heard is Connor Carty making a move from Pats to Bose. Now
Yeah.
he's on for Pats from Bolton, I think. Obviously he was in LOI before that as well. I think was he with Pats before that as well? I think wasn't he before he moved over? I think.
Yeah, yeah, he was with Pats before. He was in a loan spell, then he signed permanently, and he was at
Yeah,
Bolton, obviously. Yeah, yeah, that'd be an interesting one. I'm not too sure, like, if I could see that one really happening. I think Colin Whelan probably have to exit the club if that was to happen, because
yeah,
that's a lot, especially Patrick Hickey coming in. Like, that's a lot of options up top, isn't it? Like,
yeah, 100%.
but
I,
yeah,
I think it'd have to be departure for Whelan. Which I
yeah,
don't think Carty's like an upgrade on Whelan though. I think Whelan has probably more ability than Carty possibly like.
yeah. Carty's probably just a more available option.
Yeah,
Obviously
that's
Whelan
true.
has a question mark with his fitness, so
Yeah,
we'll see what happens there. But then again, Whelan's contract for next season, so I can't really see him going anywhere,
no.
depending on a number of incomings. But yeah, a few other ones I heard. Ben Doherty from Derry City,
Yes, I heard that
fullback.
actually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, obviously Bows have they've Jordan Flores there, who was
He's
a
not a
centre
natural
mid for trade.
fullback. Like, yeah,
No, he's not. So and yeah, look, they probably need a left full. Obviously Darragh Leahy as well leaving Waterford. Will he go back to Bows? It remains to be seen.
a good
And
option
then
actually.
yeah, and then obviously Jack Byrne has been linked with all the big Dublin clubs, but I can't really see him going to Bows. I think we'll probably touch on
No.
him later on the video, but
Yeah,
potentially, but I can't really see it. Like
yeah,
if the voice sign a new deal as well, I can't see it also.
yeah. No, I don't. I will touch back on Burn.
Yeah,
I don't see it going him going to
yeah.
Bose though. To be honest, we'll move on to Derry then. They've made one confirmed signing, I think, which was Darren Markey from Drogheda, on a 2 year deal.
Mm,
Obviously, an impressive midfielder for Drogheda. And what I always thought about him was that I always thought that he was like hesitant to go into full time football because he had like a kind of a career he's done on the side, and the part time
mm,
football kind of suited him. But fair play, he's taking a step to go proper full whack full time with Drogheda. Sorry, with
yeah,
Derry rather. And good signing for him. Like he's kind of he's a very very tidy, very established League of Ireland player, and he's a very good player. I think it's a good sign.
he is very good player. One of these lads could have easily played for one of the bigger clubs in Dublin.
Yeah.
But
Played for
obviously
Pats,
his
I
job.
think, before Drogheda, didn't he? I think
He
at
was
one
at
stage.
Pats. He was in
Yeah,
and out of
youth fella.
Pats.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a young lad. I think Pats in a bit of disarray when he was there as well. So he kind of maybe, it was kind of right place, wrong time for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, a great signing for Derry. Kind of that's the kind of profile. Like I was laughing. Some Derry fans on Twitter were going like, "Oh Jesus, we're signing. We're going for young fellas now, like 28." So
28, like,
it's on the younger end of the spectrum for them. And then also a huge rumor, which is apparently, Dan McDonald reported on James McLean coming back to Derry on loan.
I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's massive, isn't it? Like
that's huge.
more in their age profile, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I think it'd be one of the biggest kind of League of Ireland signings in a long time in terms of kind of just the profile of the player. Playing. I don't think he's getting into too much at Wrexham at the minute, which is probably why
Mm.
it's on the cards. Obviously, he's under contract there. I'm not sure if his contract expires like next summer or if it's another year on top of that. But yeah, like I think he still has a lot to offer. From a League of Ireland point of view, I think it'd be a brilliant pickup.
Oh, 100%. And he's one of these lads as well. You could play him anywhere. You could play him right mid,
Yeah,
left back. He gives you options, gives you leadership, and he's a winner first and foremost. And I think Derry kind of, they were signing, as I said, lads in their mid 30s, but not necessarily the right lads. Like Shane Ferguson, kind of at the end of his career, were like Robbie Benson's a good player in the league. Like some of the lads have left Derry, but lads are coming in and not really contributing how they were supposed to. Like Liam Boyce is, a good player, if but he needs kind of that service to thrive and so on. So yeah, James McLean kind of gives you that experience, but he also gives you that engine. Like he's not coming in here to be a passenger. He's not coming into 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there. He'll
Yeah.
start games. He looks after himself. Like I was
Yeah.
listening to Tony Pulis talking on one of the managers' podcasts, and he was saying like James McLean's one of the fittest players he's ever managed. So I have no reservations by him coming back and falling into nothing. I think he has a lot to give, and I think he could go into Derry and be there for the next 2 years, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, no, it was always inevitable he'd go back at one stage because I think he bought
Yeah.
a house there. I think he wants to see out his life there, like he wants to live there and stuff. So it always felt inevitable at some point. I thought maybe
Mm.
it was like this would be like a year too soon, but probably the championship's a tough level to be playing at, and Wrexham are pumping money in, like so. Um, it makes probably sense for him to be kind of down the pecking order now. Does he want to go back to League One at this stage at like 36 and
Mm.
relocate again and do all that again? Probably not. Derry can probably contribute somewhat to his wage. It probably suits that he's on that Wrexham wage still, and Derry can probably pay a small, probably fee towards it or whatever,
Yeah.
and get him for whatever they need him for. So I think it'd be fantastic. Son, as you say, he keeps himself in great nick. You can tell by his Instagram, he's always like boxing and he's ripped and he's in good shape. So he's not one that's coming back just for the paycheck. Like he's coming back to actually leave it all out there for Derry City. Like so, it will be a fantastic signing. Like
Yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, look forward to see what Derry do. Marky's a good sign to start things off. If McLean comes back, and it looks like they've cleared a bit of they've offloaded a fair bit of lads like Mark Connolly's left the club. I think Saud Diallo's been rumoured with an exit, and
yeah,
obviously Robbie Benson, Shane Ferguson, Hayden Cahn's gone. So yeah, look, it's another year at Derry as far as turnover goes. So they're going to need to get. I think this is Tiernan Lynch's second year now, so he's going to have to really put down his markers, the squad he wants. He kind of inherited a lot of that squad, and he got rid of like Hooban and so on throughout the season. So now is his opportunity to properly build his squad, and I think this needs to work, or else uh, he'll probably be out of a job if this doesn't work because they're not going to do this rebuild again next year under the same leadership. It
100%.
can't go. It just you can't be successful when you're making near to a dozen signings every off season. It's just not sustainable.
100%, 100%. One that
Yeah,
I heard, I think I was actually on. We might reference Irish footy vlogs a couple times this year, but I think he mentioned that Paddy McLean might be going up to Derry as well, from Sligo, which kind of make if
really.
Hughes is going there,
Yeah,
Patrick going as well makes sense.
Paddy's a
Like,
great centre.
yeah,
Like you actually look at
Sam
Sligo's
Todd leaving
upturn.
as well, Patrick Conley
Yeah,
leaving. Yeah,
he's a local lad. He's been rock solid for Sligo. Like he's like he goes on. We actually haven't talked about him much on the channel, but if you look at him coming into the team in relation to Sligo's upturn and form, they're hand in hand. So I
yeah,
think like a lad like James McLean and Paddy McLean coming into the team, like that's what you want. You know what I mean? You want two lads that are from the area,
yeah,
passionate, put a shift in, are available. So yeah, no, that'd be a great sign.
100%. Anything else on Derry before we move on, or I think that's touch on a couple of potential outgoings. Might touch on.
Max Mata was a rumor going back to Derry. I don't know
Interesting. Who's
how
he with? Do
accurate
you
that.
know who he's with now?
He was unattached. I
Oh,
think
really?
he left Shrewsbury. I think he's a free agent at the moment. And he was
Interesting.
last over in Auckland. I think he was playing for Auckland for a bit. He was
Yeah.
on loan. But yeah, he's a free agent. There's rumors of him going up to Derry. But and obviously nothing's come from those rumors. But it wouldn't surprise me. Also, I can
Yeah.
see Derry going for someone like him.
Yeah. Obviously, like Pat Hoban left. Liam
Yeah.
Boyce didn't pull up too many trees last season, really. So
Danny Mullen's gone as well
Danny
from Derry.
Mullen's gone,
Also,
of course.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So it
yeah,
makes sense for them to be looking for a striker. That one makes sense, actually. Yeah.
yeah. That'd be a good one. But yeah, no, we'll see what happens.
See what happens with that. We'll move on to Drogheda then. And I think this low key could be one of the signings of the winter. Brandon Kavanagh going to Drogheda for an undisclosed fee, signing a 2-year deal. And to be honest, like I know it didn't work out from that well with Pats last season, but I think the year before, like he was probably top of the assist charts and bits and pieces. And I don't know what kind of maybe something happened behind the scenes or whatever. Obviously Stephen Kenny was looking to get rid of him, but he's someone that I would have snapped your hand off to get a Chelsea. Like I think he's a
It's
fan
fair play.
defender. Yeah,
But even when he's at Rovers, he as I said, it was right place, wrong time for Brandon Kavanagh. Rovers,
yeah.
we had Byrne, we'd Burke, we'd Danny Mandreu, and it just he went out to play ball, but he technically is outstanding off
Unbelievable
both
left
feet.
foot. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's kind of one of these lads. I don't know, like as a youngster in that Pats team this season, it was tough for him to kind of find. I think he's one of these lads you need to kind of like have the right players around him to get the best out of him. It's not even from a work rate perspective; it's more just for his size and his ability. He needs to kind of have those, your Connor Keelys and stuff around you to support you. But
yeah.
great sign. Like you look at Darren Markey leaving, you go, geez, Darren Markey 28 leaving, like it's a huge loss. But then you're looking at him, he's what 22, 23.
Yeah,
Yeah, technically very good. Like it really, like I said, top of the assists chart. Like taking set pieces, he'd be putting it on Connor Keely's head every time. So it's a great sign from Drogheda, really under the radar.
100%, 100%. And it's kind of been a few. I don't know if there are any other confirmed signings just yet. You might correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are any other confirmed ones off the top of my head
No,
anyway.
no,
But
no.
speaking of putting it on somebody's head, they've been linked with a couple of boys from Shells. They've been linked with Sean Boyd, who's under contract at Shell, so it might take a small fee to get him out. Obviously, his injuries were a big factor this season, but like he feels like that would be a great move for him and for Drogheda as well. Like if you're playing, especially if they're kind of raising the bar of profile of players and they want to go again, and it's great to see them kind of build. And they didn't miss out in Europe, but they're going again. And I think in terms of replacing Darren Markey, obviously a big loss, but to replace him with Brandon Cavan, I think is a really good sign. And to bring in Sean Boyd to be in the box for Brandon Cavan and whipping balls in, it seems like a perfect fit nearly.
100%. It's actually funny you say that. I have one of the Drogheda fans I know, he'd be yapping about kind of like what, bits and balls with Drogheda. But I was looking about a month ago and I was going, Sean Boyd would be perfect for Drogheda. He's
100%. He's a
actually
Kev Doherty
made for
player,
Drogheda.
like
He's such a Kev Doherty player. Comes in, run the games in the team. I think Sean Boyd performs best when the odds are stacked against him. Like
100%.
after his injury, he came back. He had a point to prove. I think he's another point to prove now based off this season. And I could see him going up the draw and putting a shift in.
He
And I
needs
think
that like, but yeah, because he's a
yeah,
feisty character. Like he needs
yeah.
that bit of like something to get him going. Like
And to be fair, Drogheda would be an absolute nightmare to play against
yeah,
if Brandon Cavanagh's in the team and then you're watching Sean Boyd and Connor Keely jump in the box for every set piece. You're gonna be going, oh, like Drogheda
yeah.
away. It'd be even worse than what it already is.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Another Shells man they're linked with is Mark Coyle.
Yeah.
I think that is would be that another one that kind of makes sense as
Mm.
well. I think he's a perfect Drogheda player. Like,
Yeah.
I think that progression from like maybe Ryan Brennan moving on and slowly moving out of the team as he gets a little older,
Yeah.
Mark Coyle coming in and just really obviously he's a Premier Division winning champion, captain, sorry, Premier Division
Yeah.
champion, captain of a champion side. Obviously didn't really get going this season with Shells and kind of been moved out of the midfield. The Shells have kind of progressed and was filling in a centre half and bits and pieces this season. So it probably makes sense for him to be looking to kind of rejuvenate his career in midfield. Probably entering his late 20s now, I'd say. So
Yeah.
that one seems like yeah, especially for like Brandon Kavanagh having like a coiler there beside you, do the dirty work for you, just give you the ball, and then you just make magic happen. Like it just feels like Drogheda could be to get these couple of deals over the line. They could be in a really good place to go again next
Yeah.
season.
I hope that signing happens. Like he's been linked with Dundalk and he's been linked with Derry, but to be honest, like Drogheda is just ready made from. They play that 5-3-2 and they need a six. Like Luke Heaney leaving the club, and yeah, they just need someone to kind of go in there and just do a job for them. And I think he will make them such a better. Like I actually think if Drogheda go out and sign, like they've re-signed their whole back line and
Yeah.
goalkeeper, if they go out
Oh
and
yeah.
sign Coyle and Boyd. And are being linked to, we'll get into it after, but one or two lads from the partnership they have with Walsall. If they do that, I actually think they could go and potentially get Europe next season. Like, because like that is great business. I'm really up for draw to this. Like, I really want to see them do well because they were hard done by with Europe last year, and I'm bringing it to the last day. Like, I feel like they're due a bit of luck, and it's great
Yeah.
to see players going up there
Yeah.
because yeah, they've been operating off a shoestring for so long.
Between the missing out on Europe through the multi-club ownership, through
Yeah,
losing the quarter final, semi-final of the cup on penalties with last like
yeah,
starting to have a
quarter
chance to
final.
win a quarter
Yeah,
final, but you would have had
yeah,
Kerry and Cork in the final, and then to miss out on Europe on the final day, like yeah, they're due a little bit of luck, you would say. What were
yeah.
you saying? What were you saying about the Walsall?
Yeah, so they're being linked to the striker Levi Amanchi. He's at Rochdale on loan currently at the moment, but he's a Walsall player. He's had like a dozen clubs. He's only 24, so he's kind of one of these players. He's rocked around the pyramid in England, but big in stature. To be fair, he's done well at a few clubs, but yeah, he's been linked with coming in at Drogheda in January, and I think the Kareem up top, they've Warren Davis who kind of fell a bit off a cliff form wise towards the end, and they've Thomas Aliwa as well, so they've options up there, and then if they bring in Sean Boyd as well, obviously Josh Thomas has left the club, following like from his loan, so he'll
Yeah,
be gone, and then I think one or two of the lads are gone as well. So yeah, they're going to need to sign a few attackers. I think that's where Drogheda probably could get better next season.
yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%. lot of interesting stuff going on at Drogheda, 100%.
Yeah,
We'll move on to
yeah,
their loud rivals, newly promoted Dundalk.
mm,
Obviously, it's been a bit of a mess. It
yeah,
seems like they're kind of since promotion, but they seem to have kind of got a little bit of grips on it. And Kilduff was linked with an exit to Waterford, and then he signed a new deal to stick around. So it seems like they might have kind of pulled it together, but they probably will. I'd say he wouldn't have signed that deal unless he saw assurances that they're going to get their license, they're going to be okay, and they're
yeah,
doing things the right way. You'll have a bit of budget. So, I've seen a few rumors in. I don't think they've confirmed any ins just yet, but I've seen a couple of rumors. So. I've seen Daniel Kelly linked with a return to Dundalk from Shells. Now that one, he's been getting because if you told me that a couple of months ago, I would have said 100% could see it happening. But he's actually been getting in a good bit with Shells recently, so it would slightly surprise me if he didn't get another year at Shells. To be honest, that one just seems like it might be a year too soon. I think he might get another crack at the whip unless Shells want to move him on and bring in a replacement, a more natural kind
yeah.
of wing back because he's been filling in at wing back where he's not naturally a wing back. So maybe it makes sense. And if you get Daniel Kelly and Daryl Horgan on the wings, like you're that's not bad at all, is it really?
Not bad. It's not bad at all. It's one of these weird things with Daniel Kelly. I don't know necessarily like I believe in him as a player, but I don't know if Shell's system suits him with like
No, it
the
does probably
box
doesn't.
midfield with the tens and the he's not a wing back either. So
No.
maybe, I could see him potentially if he wants to play on the wing, he could well leave. He's at a contract as well. So like there's no reason why it can't happen if he isn't getting those assurances. So yeah, it's one of these things that could happen. He was there before, obviously. So yeah, I could
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Another one is obviously Dundalk had kind of famously had goalkeeper issues last season. I think Peter Cherry's playing a goal. I think he's like the goalkeeper coach as well. Like so, and
Mm,
he's been shoved in towards the end of the season and stuff. So they've been linked with, as we
yeah.
mentioned him earlier, James Talbot, which seems like a good fit and a good signing as well. That would be, I think.
Yeah, well, they've been linked with James Tobin. They've also been linked with Connor Kearns. Like, so,
Yeah,
I'd be
true.
interested to get your perspective on that. Well, obviously, we'll probably get into, Shell's goalkeeper situation where we get the Shells, but, you know, realistically, I'd probably see Talbot happening. As I said, he's unattached at the moment. He's just left Bowes.
Yeah.
Been linked with Dundalk in the past, back when he was, back when Dundalk were high flying and Bowes, he was up and coming at Bowes. So yeah, that's one I could definitely see happen, and if it makes sense for all parties, like as a Talbot probably needs. I don't really see any other team in the league where he go in and maybe one of the other relegation sides, but
Waterford
I
or
think
something, maybe.
yeah, Waterford or Galway or something. But
Yeah.
I could see Dundalk. I could see him in goals for Dundalk. I think
Yeah.
that one will happen.
Yeah, he's sticking close-ish to Dublin as
Yeah,
well and stuff. Might just
yeah.
work. Another former Bows player, Keith Buckley, been linked with Dundalk too, and I think
Okay.
that could be a decent pickup just for that bit of
Yeah,
experience and just to because they've got a couple of good young players and stuff.
yeah.
Um, so
Is Sean Keogh going in the off season
he's gone
to
already, I
right?
think, isn't he?
Is he gone? Yeah, because
Yeah, I
I
think
saw
he's
he
already
wasn't at the
gone.
PFAI Awards tonight, so I
Yeah,
just
he's
assumed
gone
he's
to
probably already
Brighton, I
gone.
think. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, obviously Vinny Leonard has been doing unbelievable at the under 17 World Cup. So yeah, they've lots of really good young players. I saw Dean Ebbe left the club. He was probably touted to be the top scorer in the first division. Didn't really happen for him.
no,
But they a Ruby,
yeah.
a good young player for them. So
Owen
yeah, I think
Kenny.
they need a bit of experience. Yeah, Owen Kenny, another one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But one rumor that I saw was Mark Connolly going back to Dundalk
Mm. Could see
from
that.
Derry, and I could see because he was there before, did really well. Like 33, like you could see him and Vinny Leonard kind of striking up a partnership, and with Talbot behind him, like that'd be a really kind of good base to go off. So yeah, I could see Mark Connolly happening. Obviously, you've Owen Coyle. I'm sorry, not Owen Coyle. Mark Coyle being linked
Yeah.
as well, but I can't really see. I can't
How
see
much
him go.
money do Dundalk have to throw around is another question as
I
well.
think this is paper talk. I think that,
Yeah.
if a lad gets linked with Drogheda and then 2 days later he's linked with Dundalk and vice
I,
versa.
I saw
Yeah,
Dundalk go like 100 grand to like a jersey, their jersey maker or whatever.
yeah.
They owe like 100 grand. Like
It's a basket
you'd
case. It's a
wonder how much
basket
money they
case.
owe. Like
They're being linked as well with Luke Heaney. Just left Drogheda.
that'd be a good pickup.
That'd be a good pickup. But then again, I'd like Drogheda wanted to keep him, so why would you? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's kind of all I've heard on Dundalk. But it'd be
Yeah.
interesting. I think there'd be a few unknowns coming there in the off season.
What age is Vinny Leonard? Is he 17, 16? Is he?
Yeah, I think he turns 18 in like February or March next
Because
year.
there's
So I
talk
think
of
it'd
him
be.
going to United, Man United.
You not really. Yeah, I saw Celtic and Norwich were linked him before the World Cup. But obviously he's did really well.
Yeah.
But I think he's turning 18 in March, so he probably could wait it out. But Nah, I think next summer is when he'll go. So I think he'll do him the world of good as well. A
Yeah,
half a season in the Premier Division, you know.
yeah,
So I
he's a
hope he stays.
cracking little player.
Yeah.
We'll move on then to Galway United. I haven't heard a
Oh,
huge amount from them in terms of ins, to be honest. Obviously, Brendan.
Absolutely
Yeah,
disastrous. Absolutely shocking. Like they've lost their assistant manager, they've lost Brendan Clark, Janet Eswa just announced he's leaving, Rob
Icky.
Slevin. Actually, that's one we didn't touch off with Derry, Rob
Yeah, Rob
Slevin.
Slab, of course. Yeah,
He's gone. Gary Buckley went to Cove. You know, they've released David Hurley. Stephen Walsh has left the club. Patrick Hickey's just left. Like, I don't know what is going to happen up there. I really fear for them next season. I actually think they could finish 10th.
yeah. If
You know?
you're doing predictions now, they'd be
Yeah,
the one you'd look at for 10th. Them or
yeah,
yeah, I don't know who else, but maybe Waterford, Dundalk, whatever. But
yeah.
yeah, massive departures, and obviously yeah, the assistant manager gone too, and I think Caulfield's nearly like just put me up as a director of football or something like he
He's
might
like,
even stick
yeah,
as
he's
well.
like,
Like
yeah. Oh, what? Who? Why would you want? Why would you want to? Walk into that in the off season. I don't know. I don't think the money's dried up in Galway. I don't even know what. I don't know what's happening up there to be honest. Because
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's happening.
It's
It's
still
it's a
early
mad
days, but I'm
situation.
sure they will get
Yeah,
going. Like they have to get going with a few signings.
yeah. Well, they've been linked with. If have you seen who they've been linked with?
I haven't seen anything
The-
else. No.
Yeah, no, they've been linked to Greg Bolger, who like 36, like a car. I
Good
can't see
player,
him
but
personally moving
Jesus,
up,
like
but
how many games are you getting out of him at this stage? Like,
it's uninspiring. They've
yeah,
been linked to be fair with a good sign. Lee Devitt off Treaty United. He's our
he's
top
good
scorer
loads,
this
isn't
year.
he?
He,
Yeah, yeah.
he was in the PFI First Division Team of the Year. That'd be a good signing.
For Barry
And then
Coffey, maybe as well.
Ari Coffey could be
They
another
should.
good one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but it's tough. It's tough. Especially when you've a dozen lads walking out the door. It's a very hard pitch to sell.
yeah.
It's a very hard pitch to sell. So I worry for Galway.
100%, 100%. We'll move on then to yourselves, Shamrock Rovers, the
Yeah.
champions. I haven't heard a huge amount on ins. Now, you sent me a rumor there during the week, and I don't know if you want to share that, do you?
I don't think there's much substance to it. Rumors about Cameron Ledwidge coming in, but it doesn't make sense. I think it's just pure like Chinese whispers.
Yeah,
Like he's a year left in his contract. It just doesn't make sense. And now we're signing Enda Stevens as well. Like that's just that's basically a done deal. And people that think that he's going to be a like for like replacement for Honahan are kidding themselves
yeah,
because he's not
yeah,
running up and down the sideline. At 35. I think he'll be 36 one month by the time next season starts. So, I Cape Verde aren't in the World Cup. Sorry, are in the World Cup there, and they're not in the AFCON. So Pico will be there at the start of the year. But I think
AFCON and the World Cup in the same year is mad, isn't it?
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, it's some end of mileage for some of the lads over this neck of the woods that are in both. But
It's
yeah,
mad
no,
that they qualified for the World Cup and not AFCON then as well.
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
That's
But
mental,
it probably suits them because they can just focus
Defo.
on that, like
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think Enda Stevens is one that will be announced in due course. I think he'll come in as a centre half, probably. Yeah, he'll go into the back three alongside Grace and Cleary when Pico goes to the World Cup and whatever, and he'll do a job. I think he has a lot to offer. I think we're grand at centre half personally. Adam Matthews can fill in there. Corey O'Sullivan. We've options. But the huge one we're going to replace is Josh Honahan. That's could be a
Where's he
massive.
going to go, do you think?
He's linked with Stoke and then he's linked with Lincoln and now he's linked with Cardiff. So it's I think it's gonna be bit of a bidding war from him. And whoever bids
Yeah.
the highest, he'll go. I hope he doesn't go. I don't want him to go to Lincoln. I just
Championship, he needs a championship move.
yeah, like if Stoke or even I'd like to see him go into Championship club and just try get into the team. Even if you get an assurance in League One,
He
just
has
try the
an
Championship.
he has an outside shout of getting into like these the squad for like these
Yeah,
March playoffs and for
yeah.
potential World Cup squads. He can't be playing in League One if he wants to.
No,
Like,
no, he needs to go to the championship.
yeah,
In my opinion, I'd even take a chance, go to Stoke, and try get into the team. Give yourself 6 months to just train hard and see what you can do,
yeah,
rather than just walking to Lincoln. Yeah, like Lincoln's not going to do anything for you
no,
for your international aspirations. Like, look, you've Jack Moyle and stuff over there now. We don't really hear from these lads. Paddy
no,
O'Connor was
yeah,
there for years and stuff. So yeah, but two lads I think are huge players we could replace thing with Josh Ono with is Andy Lyons, one at Blackpool. He has a year left in his deal, and I think he's an option for a year. But the Ian Evatt, their new managers, came in from Bolton,
yeah,
and he switched system. He'd play a back five now, but he hasn't had Andy Lyons in the team at all. And when he's bringing him on as a centre half. So I think he's going to be signing a load of lads in January, and Andy Lyons could potentially be out on his ear, so to speak. So I think that's a ready-made replacement for Conan. I think left wing back Lyons is a great player for us. He's always kind of like interacting with us on socials and stuff like that. So I saw like he donated to Stephen Bradley's marathon thing as
Fair
well.
play
So
to him,
he's
yeah.
he's still very close to the club, and I could see that. A kind of an outside shout I have is a young man from Sligo, Edwin Agbaji. I don't know if you've heard
Um,
much about him.
do you
He
right
kind of
back or left back?
He's a right back, but what you
Yeah,
could do there is you could put Danny Grant on the left because he
yeah,
obviously Danny
yeah.
Grant's predominantly a left winger. But yeah, Agbaji's had a contract to Sligo. Now John Russell hasn't talked about him, but he was like winner player of the month and stuff like
That's
that. A very
class,
good young
yeah.
player. Player I could probably see I fits the Bradley model of signing them young and selling them on. So I could see I think one of those two is probably what the road we're gonna go down. But then
Yeah.
again, Bradley always has a wild card in him. So that's really it on a Rovers front. Obviously, you've Conan Noonan coming back from Waterford on loan. He's been linked with Pats. We'll probably talk about him later on, but I hope he stays, especially with
Do you know
Danny
why he probably
McGrady.
stays now as well as the man Drew
Yeah,
now?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He'll get a chance in the team, and to be honest, yeah, like probably just outgoings of Rovers. You just have if you've him going, Gary O'Neill hasn't really featured at all this season. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he'll probably go. Sean Cavanagh's out of contract. Trevor Clark has a year left, but he's not really in the team. Aaron Green's 36 now, kind of not really in the team. I could see him retiring or going. And yeah, that's really all in the Rovers front.
Yeah, fair, fair. What else did I have? Obviously, we might touch on Jack Byrne
Mm,
later in the video potentially.
yeah, yeah.
Michael Noonan potentially, like
Yeah. Oh,
like a
yeah.
like a
That's one.
like
That's another
like a
one. Man United. I was
yeah.
reading an article there today. That I don't know who published it. One of the United, like kind of Twitter pages published an article on it, but saying that he's valued at the moment at €2.5 million. It was £2 million, but they're saying the Shamrock Rovers could potentially command a fee, higher than that. So I think potentially Michael Noonan could be going for like they're saying 3 million. Like, and what's 3 million to Man United?
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
I know. What I just thought that he had like a release clause that wasn't that big, is what I heard when he first went to Rovers from Pats.
Mm,
He knew that
mm.
he was going to be going eventually. He wanted to play, so he had a. That's what I heard at the time.
You see,
But when he,
Rovers don't really do release clauses. Like we got done for 40 grand on
yeah, but
Danny
say
McGray.
say say if you get offered this thing where you're like, oh, you're getting this wonder kid from Pats, and you're
Mm.
guaranteed 500 grand in 2 years, it makes business sense to do it. Like if that's his
I
release, do
would,
you know what I mean? Like.
but that's just not really how Rovers operate. Like we haven't done that one year. I think more for Noonan it was with Pats that he was supposed to be going to Man City. He could have went. I don't know. I think with Brexit it complicated things, and then there's Melia,
Amelia.
Patrick Keena, yeah, and
Yeah.
there was just no pathway for him there, and he was a Rovers fan, so I think Bradley said, "Look, if you come in, we'll put you in the first team. We'll give you a chance," and I think that was what prompted it. But he's on a 2 year deal, as far as I'm aware. I don't know that Rovers are very quiet with what they do behind the scenes, so you never know if they've updated that. But he's supposed to be up next year, but you can still command a huge fee from next summer, especially.
3 million for a 1 year deal seems wild.
Yeah, no, it does, but yeah, it does. But then again, we saw Victor on his Shuna for Arsenal for two, like
Yeah.
So
Right, we will move on to Shelbourne. No ins yet, no confirmed outs yet, as far as I'm aware. I don't think they had anyone on the PFAI list or anything. A few um names bandied about in terms of transfer rumors and anything. I think they have like a high number of players like signed up for next year already. So probably one of the teams with maybe less kind of turnover than others, which is a good thing, I think, in terms of that having that. Even kind of Shamrock Rovers have shown that in the kind of recent years in terms of building like a team over a sustained period is a positive thing. So I think Shells are kind of hopefully building something there. We might touch on the goalkeeper situation, which we briefly touched on before. Connor Kearns has been linked away. Veshel Spiel has been on loan. So is it the end for Connor Kearns at Shells, do you think?
it's hard to say. It's very hard. He's very been hard done by here because like he had a bad month or two, and I think he was carrying something, and then he's got a bad injury, and it's very reactive. But then again, you could probably speak more on Spiel than I could. Like he's solid against us and Tala, but then again, you had one or two errors. Like remember, I can't remember the game where he came in for a cross and missed it or something. Like
Yeah.
he's a bit hit or miss. Like what do you like? You can speak better about him than I
Yeah,
can.
I've watched him a good bit now, and I do like him. I think he's like
Yeah,
6'8", big frame, decent
yeah,
kicker. Uh, Listen, like you might have a couple of teething problems at the start of any kind of goalkeeper joining a club
yeah.
like. I think he's been quite good, and I'd be happy to get him back. Whether that's the case, I don't know what his plans are in terms of going back to Minnesota. Um,
Mm.
where whatever he wants to do with his career, hard to know. But I'd be definitely more. I feel like he's very like he's just like kind of trusted pair of hands. Like I think he's a solid keeper, but maybe Joey has someone else lined up. It's hard to know.
Why not Connor Kearns though?
I just think injury issues are probably why they're just like we need to have a reliable number one here that's just going to be there for the whole season. I love Conor Kearns and I've been raving about him. He should have been in the Ireland squad at one stage and he should have. He was the best keeper in the league 2024. So I rate him very very highly, but it's just
It's a very reactive, isn't it? Like you're saying an
yeah.
injury, but like you only had one season of it, like
Yeah, yeah.
like
Part of me would be like maybe it's his paper, maybe it's his chat, Twitter chat and bits and pieces, and he's going to
mm,
get a crack at the whip next season again. Could well be the case.
mm.
Um, but I think Spiel has the potential to be like a really really good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that's
no,
something.
listen, listen, if you can get Spiel, I think that's probably the play, especially like I think Spiel's Joey's man as well, where
Yeah.
maybe Kearns is more Duffer's man. So you take that in consideration too. But yeah, look, there's obviously a few loanies or shells. You've James Norris, someone that Joey seems quite optimistic about keeping beyond this season, which I was surprised there personally.
Yeah, and it's actually something that I regretted not mentioning in our Team of the Year video, which you can check out live on our page at the minute. But I actually
Great point,
I
yeah.
should have had him as honourable mention for left back. I
Yeah,
regretted that afterwards. I think he deserved the shout, because he's
yeah.
been very very good this
If he
season.
doesn't stay at Shells now, it's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love James Norris, and I think he's uh, very unlucky in the recent European game with the red card. But outside of that, I think he's had a fantastic, really kind of solid centre, like left back, really good tackler, gives you a really good consistency. Never has a poor game, really hard to get around for a winger. Yeah, very, very good player. I think he actually got better as the season went on, which is really promising. I think he liked his spell at Shells, so I think he'd be potentially keen on coming back and having a crack again next season, which would be fantastic. So the kind of right noises are coming out of Joey in terms of that, so that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and like look, left backs are few and far between the league at the moment. I think there's a bit of a shortfall with them. Like obviously you've Honan going, and I'm looking at left backs of the league, and I'm like, it's a bit tough. I think
Like he
Bowes
could
as
be the
well are
best.
in.
With Honohan gone, he could be the best left back in the league next season.
I think so. I him or Connor Kane. Yeah, probably based off age and profile and background. I'd say you probably go for Norris. And like I remember watching Tala like when he's beat us 1-0 there. Like he was solid. Like he was up and down that line. Like, he has pace, he's physicality, he has position. He's a full package. He's someone I think if he signed for Shells permanently, that he's going to get a fee from them in the future
Yeah,
because I think he does have a career over in England.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm worried about is like I think like with a Tranmere, John could look close to Liverpool, a Tranmere or a Wigan or a Bolton maybe looking at him or something. But I think another year in Ireland could do him really well, and he might want to come back and play European football
Mm,
again next season, for
mm,
example. So
potentially.
back at maybe having the title race on the card and everything. Um,
Mm,
Another really interesting one is probably the oldest player in League of Ireland history that would command a transfer fee would be Paul Hammond. And apparently Joey O'Brien wants to get him. And this is one that I called in a video that we haven't actually released yet, which is so annoying. But I've actually talked about this 2 weeks ago when we filmed a different video that we
yeah.
haven't actually put on the channel yet. But you can vouch for me that I actually
Yeah.
suggested this to you like 2 weeks ago. And you were like, oh, I don't know, maybe, whatever. And now it's kind of becoming a reality all of a sudden.
Crazy, like, yeah, because you
Yeah.
think, like, local fella, 37, like, under contract, you're like, and especially in League of Ireland,
Yeah.
you rarely see a transfer fee for a 27-year-old, never mind a 37-year-old,
Yeah.
So it's mad, but I'll give you a funny one I was just looking at before we jumped on. Obviously John Daly's gone into Waterford and he was talking about, Podge and whatever, and he's like, I've talked to Podge and, we want to have him around next season, and as of right now, he's on board, whatever, we're happy to have him. And then they put out their retained squad, and Pod Hammond is on it. But he was getting interviewed tonight at the PFAI Awards, and I was like, Pod, top scorer, whatever, how are you feeling? And he cheapers, like if you're a Waterford fan, he was like, well, look, I don't know where I'm going to be playing my football next season, but I've
Did he
lots
say
more to
that?
give. Yeah, he's like, I don't know if I'm playing
Oof.
football next season, but I've lots more to give. So wherever that may be, I'm ready. I think I could play for another few years, and so I want to test myself.
Wow.
And I was like, Oh, he's going to shells, like, because when I
Yeah.
read John Daly's quotes and he was like, I've talked to Podge, no, all's good. And then he was in the retained
Yeah,
squad. I was
saw
like,
that, yeah.
nah, he's staying. But then when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's going to shells. So
Because
I
I
think it's
saw
going
the
to happen.
retained list today. Was that today? I think I saw that today. I was like,
Yeah,
Captain Paul Jammond is under contract, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
like the
yeah,
headline thing. And that's really interesting that he said that.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
obviously
I think it's
he
very
obviously wants
telling.
a like I said this to you before, like if you're at
Yeah.
that stage of your career, you feel like you have a bit left in the tank. You want to try and have a crack at Europe again, one
Mm,
last crack at Europe. He hasn't really had that because with Waterford and with Newport and all these kind of teams he
mm,
played for. He wants a bit of that taste of that
mm.
European football. Like,
Why not? And the shells would suit him. Like, you've Jack Henry Francis, you've McElroy, if you've Norris on one bang. Like, these are lads energetic,
yeah,
youthful. They get around the pitch. You can just chill around the box and, be on the end of stuff. Like that. So he could do that for a year or two for
you
shells. Same with
know,
Rory Gaffney is for us. Yeah.
yeah. Do you know who he could be great for Meepo as well? Just that little those
Yeah.
few little nuggets of information and just training day in, day out with
Mm,
each other. Meepo
yeah.
could come on leaps and bounds playing with him
Yeah.
and Meepo
No,
doing
mate,
it.
it makes perfect sense. And yeah, I personally think the Shells are Rovers' closest rivals next season. And especially with the next man we're about to talk about, and I think he's going to Shells. I think Jack Byrne will be a Shelbourne player come next season.
Oh,
It just makes perfect sense. Like Joey O'Brien and Jack Byrne have
it
a
does.
great relationship from their time at Rovers. Someone that Jack Byrne has publicly spoke about who has huge admiration for. He was a player when I remember Jack Byrne's first sign for Rovers. I think there was a red arse going on in training and Alan Manis got red arse or whatever, and then Jack Byrne was meant to get a red arse. He wouldn't do it, and Joey O'Brien pulled him aside and said, "Listen, Alan Manis has been the Scottish goalkeeper of the year, played international football, 20 caps. So if he's getting red arse, so are you." And apparently that was the moment where Jack Byrne was like, "No, I need to cop on here," and he always talks about it. And Joey O'Brien was that person for him at Rovers, so. It makes perfect sense for him to go there under Joey O'Brien. They play the box midfield, two tens. Jack Byrne will slot in, and then if you Podge Allen up top, like it's an unbelievable starting team, isn't it?
It's exciting. It's exciting. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything on the Jack Byrne one. Like,
It's gone a bit quiet, but it's one of these. I think he's still out in Dubai, so you're not going to hear much
not
until,
gonna, it'll probably be
Christmas,
like
let's say.
Christmas early next year before
Yeah.
anything gets kind of discussed. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
calls and bits and pieces going on, but like it's just tricky in terms of would it be a loan because he is under contract at Rovers, and would Rovers be comfortable
Mm.
with loaning him to Shells, and would Chelsea to pay?
But there's a benefit to loan on the share. So we played his fourth. I was thinking about this. I was like, for the sake of getting him off the books, might just make sense to loan him because he'll pay most of his wages, and then he won't play. Just say he has a storm next year. That's 4 games where he can't play against us. So it could make sense for us to loan him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, but what if Jack Byrne like is player like because it's not out of the realms of possibility
No,
that Jack Byrne is
it's
the
not.
best player in the league next season. Like
No, it's
he's
not.
that good. Like you know you've seen it yourself.
We have this conversation every year, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'd
It
because I did think that it could light a little fire under him to get going at
mm,
Shells and
mm,
having that point to prove and winning the
mm.
league against Rovers. Like, that could be just such a motivation for him to get going. But yeah, the injury issues, bits and pieces, you just don't know what you're going to get. But he's still only 28, 29. Like he still he should be in his prime now, and he's such a good player. And listen, I'd love Shells. I think it's worth the punt from a Shells point of view, 100%.
It
I'd love
is worth it. It is worth it. You get him, Hammond in, and maybe one or two others.
rotating him, Harry
He's
Wood, Ali Coote in that 10 position, and you've
yeah,
Francis McInroy and Lunny, and that's up. That should be right up there.
he will be. He'll be us in news next year, I think. Maybe a surprise from Derry or Bowles, but I just can't see it at the moment. I think our squads are. It's not just starting 11s now. It's squads. Like we both have like the guts of 20 players that can jump in and jump out. So yeah, no, it's big. So yeah, no, lots of exciting stuff happening in Shells.
Yeah, one big error. One before we move on from Shells, one big issue to address that is that they need a centre half, and one man that I saw linked, but I don't know how realistic this is Joe Redmond.
I
I,
think Dan
I
McDonald poured cold water on that.
Yeah, but I talked to a couple of Pats fans and they said that he looks like he wants to go. Like his body language at the end of the season for Pats was that he wants to go. But I was thinking that I think he'd be nearly more likely to go to Rovers than Chelsea.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one. I think this is one we'll talk about next year. I just think he has a year left at Pats.
You'll see it out.
I think Pats have a lot more players under contract that they want to get rid of before you look at Joe Redman. I just can't see them letting that happen.
Yeah,
I think there's so many other players that Pats will talk about them now, but
he'd be very
yeah,
reluctant to leave. let him go within the league as well. Like,
Yeah, it just, you're not going to replace him. Let's be honest, you're not. So I could see potentially next year when he's out of contract that happening. But as far as this summer, I just can't. I just can't see it.
no, no. Um, Move on from Shells then to Sligo Rovers, who've been one of the busier sides. I think they're probably the busiest side.
Mm.
Um, they've confirmed the signing of Archie Meekinson from Bohemians. Obviously, Ryan O'Kane's loan expired, so it'd be interesting to see what happens to Ryan O'Kane actually from a Shell standpoint. But his loan is done, so they brought in Alex Nolan as well from Cork, another winger. So two kind of wingers there. And they've also confirmed the signing of, I think he's an experienced defensive midfielder, Carl McHugh. Had you heard that name before? Had you?
Yeah, I had. Yeah, he played football like in the even lower tiers. So he was actually initially at Dundalk, 2011. Then he got a move across the way. I think he was at Reading. Then he went over to Motherwell, and he played his football in India for the last couple
Yeah,
of
I
years.
saw
So a
that. Yeah,
bit of a journeyman now, but kind of someone that I'd always kind of heard bits and bobs from. Twitter it pops up every now and then.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but someone that I always thought would come back to the league. Actually, funny enough, I remember thinking I was like, geez, he'd be a proper Sligo, like so somewhere like Sligo or Galway.
yeah.
'Cause he's a Cavan man, like so. Could see him like not necessarily a Dublin club, but yeah, solid signing. Like what age is he? 30? Is he?
32, I think.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like you go
Yeah,
in, do a job. Sligo have a lot of good young players, so I think he's a good sign and profile wise, lots of experience. I think that's a shrewd one from John Russell.
100%. And what you make of young Alex Nolan and Archie Meekinson, the two kind of attacking
Yeah,
players they brought in?
two lads I probably wouldn't know that too much about. Like obviously Alex Nolan was in, like was probably starter for Cork. Meekson was in and out of Bows. I think two lads are probably a point to prove.
Perfect
Now
Sligo signings, though, isn't a perfect place to go.
oh, proper place to go. If you've any sort of point of proof, you got into Sligo and John Russell get the best out of you. Meekson, like, was it like like probably within that kind of 13 or 14 Bows players that were starting every week, like
Yeah,
so he's a solid sign and fair play to John Russell for that one. And then Nolan was he at Nats, and then he went to
Pats
Cork.
in Cork,
He's kind of
yeah.
had two lacks, like two moves now that haven't probably gone the way he wanted. So definitely a huge point of improvement. Obviously, Ryan O'Kane going back the Shells. Be interested to see where he ends up. But yeah, like for like change there. So yeah, I think good work from Sligo. And then obviously, they've Will Fitzgerald and Jada Kiki under contract. John Mahon left, which was a mad one I
Yeah,
thought.
surprising, wasn't it? Yeah,
But when you look back on it, he actually hasn't since Patrick McLean side. He actually hasn't been in the team.
yeah,
So
fair, yeah.
um, could be
Um,
potentially one for Galway. But yeah,
yeah, that's true. That's true. I could see that actually. But
yeah,
one that they've signed from Galway, or not signed yet, but it looks like they're going to sign is Janet Asua, who
great
was
son.
an unbelievable right full for Galway last season. Someone who I actually would have potentially envisaged signing for like a Pats or like
Yeah,
a Bows or something. But
yeah.
Sligo looking like they're the ones who are going to pick him up.
Fair play to him, yeah. And I was talking about Edwin Agbaji. I can see that's the like for like replacement there. Salah right back, he's 28, Cameroonian. One of the Ollie Horgan stories of flying out to Cameroon to go get him. Fair play to them, signing from Finnish clubs. But yeah, like look, you look at Sligo, like if they lose Patrick McLean, that'd be a huge departure. And obviously, Owen Elding, is being linked to Storm Graz in
Yeah.
Austria for 1.5 million. Like that'd be a
They can
huge
reinvest it well though, like and
the stadiums are coming
yeah,
along nicely and stuff like that. Yeah, so interesting times at Sligo. It's compared to what we were talking about them like last year, it's very bleak. They were losing lots of players, and John Russell seemed to have his hands tied behind his back. But it's not a bit. It's nice. It's a bit refreshing to see kind of outside of the Dublin realm to have a club kind of making kind of shrewd signings. So yeah, I think Sligo are going to be. I think they want to push on from last year. They don't want to be involved in relegation, but I think they'll be mid-table next year and potentially an
yeah.
outside shed of Europe. So it's great to see.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. They're linked with Conan Noonan as well, but we kind of touched on previously that don't
Yeah.
think he's going to be going anywhere probably after obviously the sad Mandry news. Obviously, it looks like he's out for a long time, so probably Conan Noonan at Rovers. It looks like he'll probably get a chance next season in some capacity.
You'd have to think so, yeah. You'd have to think. It's more, the next thing we're talking about, Pat's been linked with them as well. So yeah, there's interest in him.
Yeah. Speaking of Pats, then no confirmed signings yet, but a good few rumors going on. We touched on Conan Noonan already. They linked with Val Adidokun, a left back for Brentford, who signed for Brentford B from Dundalk. I don't know if you remember him. I think he actually played for Man
Mm,
United, if I remember correctly,
mm,
potentially.
mm,
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
mm.
yeah, he's a left full. Obviously, I think Anto Breslin's been kind of one that has gone kind of
Been frozen now.
yeah, huh?
He's been frozen now at Pat's.
Yeah.
He's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like that's probably an area. I think he might have worked with Kenny at the under 21s, if I'm not mistaken. So kind of feels like a good fit.
Well, fit Pats are a weird one because
Yeah.
we were talking about at the start of the year with two 11s and the All Stars team, and you're like trying to reinvent that slash upgrade it, and it's very hard. But yeah, it's a better route for Pats. They're linked with Conan Noonan, and to be honest, it's kind of one I'm a bit worried about. I think he could potentially end up at Pats. 'Cause I think Kenny would probably make him one of their main players, but yeah, it's a tough one. Pats just need to kind of sign. I think that's the profile of player now. Need to go for like 20 to 23, 24 year olds with
Yeah.
points to prove. Like, I think that's the route for them.
Yeah, they've been linked with Seydou Diallo from Derry City as well. I think it'll be a
Mm.
decent pickup. I don't know if you rate him too highly, but I think
He's all right,
they
yeah.
need another Jamie Lennon type in that midfield, just kind of
Mm.
someone to sit in the six and maybe just to get a bit more control in games and just the midfield.
Yeah.
I thought the midfield was quite easy to run through last season at times. Like I think Forrester can't really get around like he used, to, and he's more of a luxury player anyway. Jamie Lennon.
Barry Barry Bagley's more of an eight.
I
Yeah,
actually did
Lennon.
all right actually towards the end of
Yeah.
the season. In fairness, he kind of came along a bit. He hit a kind of
Mm.
poor start, but he came along a bit more. But I
Mm.
think another option in there would do them the world of good.
I think Diallo, like it's a tad bit uninspiring as
Yeah,
far as like credentials wise, but he's big profile. Gives them some in midfield that they don't necessarily have, and I think Pats probably need one or two more, 6'4", 6'5" lads, kind of just to because there's so many of the same player. The
yeah.
nice silky footballer, and they just need a bit more of something else. So yeah, I think Diallo would be a good signing, and then yeah, if they get the left back Val off Brentford, I think that'd be solid too. So yeah, it's tough with Pats. You have lots of players under contract, players like Jake Mulroney will be at Pats next season. You can't imagine.
I saw him
Uh,
linked with Rovers actually.
that's
Did you see
that's the
that?
annual rumor. That's the
Yeah,
annual rumor with Rovers.
that's the new Danny
Um,
Grant though. Like kind of save him and make him great.
Yeah, but Danny Grant was 24.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mulroney's 29. You know what I mean? Like it's an like Danny Grant injuries were more like he had the ability there. It was just the injuries. Whereas for me with Mulroney, it's the work ethic. Like I can't see him playing wing back for us and
No,
breaking his
no,
backside, going from byline to byline. I just can't see it. Like
no,
I just can't see it.
no,
But then
100%.
again, he's good mates with a few of the Rovers as a Cleary and stuff. So and he's from that neck of the woods. So you
Yeah.
never know. But I hope I can't see him leaving Pats. He's on great money there, and I can't see Rovers like that. That's just like replacing the kind of Jack Byrne type player with another Jack Byrne type player. I think we're kind of a bit veering away from that. A bit of a luxury player.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't really see it to be honest.
He'd be competing with Graham Burke or something just hasn't a hope. Like,
Yeah.
give you a laugh on Pats before we finish up with them actually. Uh, a Pats fan that you know as well told me this recently that he thinks that they're going to sign Trent Doherty from Liverpool on loan because he has the same agent as Stephen Kenny, and apparently it's a done deal.
No, they don't even have European football to offer
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
That's an
I was
outrageous
playing
shout.
for Liverpool the other week, like.
How many points did he have when he said that shit? Gee, but same age as Stephen Kenny. Like there's like four agents in Ireland. Like
Yeah.
you can apply that across the
Ian
board.
Hart.
Like
It's Ian Hart.
don't bring it cheapers. Oh, stop! I
Oh,
forgot about that one. But yeah,
imagine.
no, I can't see that. I can't see that.
No, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, mate. Next up, then, finally, actually, we do have Waterford, and we touched on earlier that they've confirmed the new manager, John Daly, obviously the former assistant manager
Mm.
of Galway United. So, what do you think of the appointment first off before we jump into any transfers?
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, it is. It's grand. I probably
Grand.
describe it as a grand appointment. Could have they gone for worse? Yes. It was a John Russell. Like no. Like if they
Yeah,
got John Russell, I was like, oh my god, they're getting John Russell. But why
yeah,
would he leave Sligo? It's a it's a safe pair of hands. I'd probably
yeah,
put it as.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think Waterford will be kind of like eight, ninth, that kind of ninth position again like, next season. I think they'll be in amongst it, but I don't think. I think Galway are in a worse spot, and Dundalk are probably both in worse spots than them. But they're always kind of playing with the idea of getting relegated, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. I had looked at their retained list, and a couple of the outs actually caught the eye. A couple of the big names that I noted down: Grant Horton, gone. Dara Leahy, gone. Ben McCormack, gone. James Oleyenka, gone, who I think was one that they probably would have liked to have kept. He was quite good
Mhm.
at times last season.
Mhm.
Kasper Rojewski, gone. Jordan Rossiter, gone. Brad Wade, the keeper, gone as well. So, and that's not even the full list, I don't think. So there's a long list of kind of players from starting 11 area gone from the team, and obviously the Noonan loan is up, and then Armand could go as well. So big job for John Daly to get going there. Like,
Yeah, it is a big job. And obviously, McMullen goes and all his loan go back to Fleetwood and stuff.
yeah,
So they're losing a good men players. But I don't know. I read that statement from the Water. I don't know if it was the owner or what. I don't know. It was someone at board executive level after the playoff, and he was like, "Look, like we've been neglecting the team. We've heard feedback about the loanees and stuff, and we have a model, but we want to bulk the horse in the off season." I think they showed that. That ambition with trying to get John Russell. And I think they will back John Daly. I don't think he would have gone there if it was going to be another Dundalk case, because obviously he'd experienced all that with Dundalk previously. Like they've re-signed Dean McNamee, they've Tommy Lonergan there, and yeah, it's just going to be a mass rebuild for Waterford. But I think they'll do it. I think they'll be fine. I just have this gut feel of Waterford. I've not much evidence to back it up with, but I just have this feeling that I think they'll be grand. I just think there's enough there. I think the appointment of John Daly was a shrewd appointment. And I just think they'll be all right.
yeah.
I don't know what your feeling is on it. I haven't heard much, to be honest.
Yeah, only one rumor I've heard, and I think this is actually from Keith from Irish Footy Vlogs. One of his videos as well was Killian Browder from Galway coming in,
That'd
centre
be solid.
to be a
That'd be
solid.
solid.
Yeah, very
And,
solid.
and and you're not just adding to your team. You're shooting your rival in the leg as well. Like
Yeah,
like that's a huge blow of Galway. Lose them to Waterford of all
yeah,
teams. You know.
yeah. Slevin and Browder gonna be would be a disaster. Like,
Disastrous.
but I haven't heard much else on the ins front. So if you're a Waterford fan and you're tuning in, let us know in the comments because
Do.
I haven't heard a huge amount really. But yeah, a lot of work to do.
Do you know what I think Waterford will be next season? I think they're going to sign a few, like, a few names, a few outside names. They'll have it their loanees, but I think it'd
Yeah,
be a great place in the league for the likes of Shells and Rovers and Pats to loan one or two youngsters there. Yeah, because they've a nice this WRC the RSC is it's a nice it's a nice surface and
yeah.
it's a good place to play
Arnold
ball.
Kane seems like a good fit for Waterford.
I'm thinking about Keane Barrett at Rovers. Like
Yeah,
I could see him down there playing ball with them. Like they did wonders with Conan Noonan. It's a great advertisement to the rest of the clubs to go look, bring your lads down here and we'll play them.
100%.
So I think Waterford will be all right. But yeah, as I said, any Waterford fans in the comments, please let us know.
100%. Absolutely. Well, that's the 10 sides. So probably plenty more to be looking at over the coming months. Like there's going to be
Yeah,
plenty coming up, but yeah. We hope. Do we want to make this a weekly show? You have to hit like if you want to make this a weekly show. Like
yeah.
it's up to you guys.
Yeah, we all have an itch to scratch when it comes to this stuff. We all be Twitter searching and going through a few footy blogs and stuff. And Dan McDonald tweets. What's he tweeting? We all have an itch for it. So it's all in all of our best interests. We want to be recording these videos. So yeah, give us 25 likes and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, on Spotify also 5-star review and yeah, subscribe if you're new also. But yeah, that's our kind of first edition of our League of Ireland transfer show. So yeah, as
First
I
of
said,
many.
like, subscribe, comment, let us know, and predict a few transfers as well.
Yeah,
And if they happen, we'll
it'd
give
be
you a shout.
interactive. It'd be an interactive show, so we want to get your
Yeah,
comments involved.
yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. And yeah, if we've missed anything also, let us know too. But Ross, pleasure as always. Thank you.
Yeah, you're a gents. Thanks for tuning in, guys.